Welcome back to Valkenswaard in the Netherlands. This is the 6th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Europe. Final race today, MXGP Race 2, all 30 minutes plus 2 laps of it, coming up in just a few moments. Now in MXGP, Tony Cairoli has won here 6 times, Jeffrey Hurlings has won 7 times. Will we see either of those two on the top step of the podium here? Honda and Yamaha, though, have won the last 2 Grand Prix here. Suzuki haven't won since 2008. Kawasaki haven't won since 1999 in the hands of Martin Bavort. There's never been a Dutch winner overall here at Valkenswaard since 1974. And Husqvarna have never won here. They are the only manufacturer not to. And obviously, we will see the race highlights of race 1. And you realize why I gave you all that extra information, because it's all relative to what happened in Moto number 1. Great aerial view of the circuit. Fantastic location here. Just behind us there is the Center Parcs holiday location, but the Euro circuit, the rallycross venue, been in existence for many, many years. 1,550 meters long, this racetrack. It was tough in race 1. It's going to be even tougher in race 2. It's Brad Anderson there in the background, and Arash Kian, Bell Rep, talking to his fellow Northeasterner. But MXGP race 1 went a little bit like this. Gate dropped, and it was Gauthier Paulin on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna who grabbed the foxhole shot ahead of Geiser, Fevre, Dessau, and Bobryshev. And Tony Cairoli was buried in about 15th, 20th place. It got worse for him as well, because Tonus went down and it held up the Sicilian. He rejoined, but never really found his groove after that, despite getting let by his team, former teammate, Ken de Dijker on the Suzuki. He got up to the rear wheel of his teammate, Glenn Goldenoff, and just kind of hit the wall. Meanwhile, up front, Paulin was just looking immaculate as he fended off the challenge of the HRC riders. Geiser and Bobryshev. Van Horbig was in 4th, whilst Roman Fevre was doing a great job in 5th. Hurlings had a decent start and was up to 6th, giving chase to Fevre. Fevre handed him an easy bye in the end. Despite the 2 banging bars initially, Fevre made a mistake in one of the corners at the bottom of the hills just a short while afterwards here. Locked up, stalled it, couldn't get it fired up, and eventually he faded down to 11th, and that's where the former world champ stayed. Geiser then crashed out of 2nd on lap 5, handing 2nd position to his teammate. And it wasn't long before Hurlings got into his stride as well, found his way past Geiser as he charged up behind the Yamaha. Van Horbig to go into 4th. Also muscling his way through was the 27 on the Suzuki of Arminas Jasikonis. That pass put him into 5th, which is where he would stay, but what a pass this was from Jeremy Van Horbig. Bobryshev had no option but to back out of that challenge, otherwise they were both going down. Hurlings sped down the inside of the Russian and then made a mistake as he tried to pass Van Horbig, not for the first time. The second mistake took him off the track and out of contention for 2nd, and it was a win for Gauthier Paulin, his first since Teufenthal 2015. Van Horbig was 2nd, Hurlings was 3rd. Bobby and Jasikonis rounded out the top 5. A lot happened in that first MXGP race. Right before the riders went out on the sighting lap a moment ago, Lisa Leyland caught up with a couple of riders. Arminas Jasikonis for Suzuki World MXGP, and well, former AMA Superbike champ and former MotoGP champ, Nicky Hayden, who's here as a guest.
Hello and welcome to the start of the 2nd MXGP race of the day. And this weekend we actually have a special guest. It's former MotoGP rider Nicky Hayden, MotoGP World Champion. But at the moment you're actually competing at the FIM Superbike World Championship. How's your season been so far? Because you've had 3 rounds already, haven't you?
We have, but unfortunately it's not been my best season so far. Thankfully it's still early and get a chance to turn it around next weekend in Assen.
Okay, and of course you're here at the MXGP. Valkenswaard is always a busy one. It's always pretty crazy in the sand. How have you found it so far?
I love it. I like motocross, supercross a lot. And I've been to a few GPs in the past, and I'm enjoying it. I'm in the area because we're racing next weekend in Assen, and came over and watch a true sand track is really exciting. First moto, I mean, was great to see with a few laps to go, you know, 4 or 5 guys all with the chance to win it. So, yeah, I'm having fun.
It's a little bit cold, though.
It's cold, but it's dry, so I'm not complaining.
Always think on the positive. Nicky, best of luck in Assen. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay, let's hope so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicky Hayden there. Okay, I want to have a quick word with Arminas Jasikonis. brilliant first moto for him. We've seen him go from strength to strength, and he got his best result so far of the season in that first race. Arminus, fantastic first race for you. It seems like you're really finding yourself at home here in the class.
Yeah, those overseas was a big struggle for me, you know, was not so easy, so feeling good in Europe and in Valkenswaard here, feeling quite good track, and finally got some better result, but it's still not over, you know, second moto is coming, but I'm really excited and motivated.
Obviously a few riders struggle in the sand. I know Suzuki's workshop's not far from here, so you've had quite a bit of practice, haven't you?
Yeah, we had practice, but I don't know, everyone, you know, practicing, everyone is mostly based in Lommel, so
yeah,
it's not a thing, but of course I like more sand, but this year we improved also on hardpack quite a lot, and I think, yeah, there's not such a big difference between everyone, you know, of course I like sand, but...
Well, best of luck in that second race. Thanks, Arminus. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for the second MXGP race.
The funny thing about that interview, folks, is that Arminus Jasikonis was actually on his knees when he did that interview. So short is Lisa Leyland. But we'll get her a ladder next time. Well, we'll take a quick look at the championship standings at the moment. Geiser, 216. He's 21 clear of Cairoli. Both riders not having a great performance in Moto number 1, but it's Tony Cairoli who will go to the line first. And well, somebody who knows Tony very well is Lorenzo Resta. Lorenzo Resta, obviously we're watching some of the highlights there from MXGP Race 1 as we look at the start list here. Tony Cairoli, we thought he would carve his way through the field like he did in that second race in Trentino. It just didn't happen for him. He got caught behind his teammate, it seemed, and maybe lost his rhythm. Is that exactly what happened, or were there some other things we didn't know about?
First of all, hi, Paul, and have a good afternoon, everyone at home looking at this fantastic second moto. I had the chance to talk with Tony and with his crew, his staff, and unfortunately, Tony was coming back really fast, scoring really good lap times. He was riding around in 51, who was the fastest in one of the laps, the fastest guy on track. But then as soon as he arrived behind Glenn, he got something on his goggle, maybe a stone. The goggle popped up off a little bit, and a lot of sand entered in the goggles, so in the eyes, and he's still struggling a lot with the eyes now, right, for the second moto, so I don't know what to expect. It was treated, of course. He washed his bulbs, his eyes, and he put some special stuff in the eyes just to calm down a little bit the irritation, because they're really red, the eyes, and he's still struggling a little bit. So it was unfortunately a problem with the goggles, and we think that probably something hit the goggles just when he was behind his teammate, ready to pass. I'm not sure that he could win like he did in Trentino, but for sure he could join maybe team and stay around it 5th, 6th places.
Or, you know, at the very worst, maybe just find that pass to close more points on Tim, because obviously that gap's gone back out again now. It was, what, 18, 19 before today. It's now 21 or something like that.
Yes, it was 18, now it's 21.
Yeah, so obviously he's lost points in that respect. But coming into race 2, what can we expect from this guy here, number 84, Jeffrey Hurlings? Hasn't been his usual dominant self, but with the track becoming more rough after that MX2 race 2, can we expect a race win out of this guy? I guess it depends on whether he gets out of the start or not.
Yeah, I think it depends about a lot of things, but for sure he's one of the guys that can win today. I would not be surprised if he will win the race, the moto and the GP. I wasn't surprised that he finished 3rd. I was maybe thinking that he could even win the first moto, because one moment he was 2 seconds from the lead, and we have just to remember that it's the first time that he's not winning a moto in Valkenswaard.
Yeah, exactly. He's been 7 times in a row a winner in MX2, right away from his 3rd ever Grand Prix back in MX2 back in 2010 when he went a double moto victory. In fact, I don't think he's ever lost a race here anyway, as you said. But a little bit different here this weekend. 3rd in race 1, which is even more surprising because he only started in 7th. It's not like he went down in the first turn or anything, but we know that he's a little bit, it's not 100%. It's not the normal Jeffrey that we've been watching, but from our side as well, you know, from a neutral position, kind of makes it more interesting, doesn't it? Especially here this weekend. 15-second board is up. MXGP Race 2 is about to get underway here. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. There is Jeffrey Hurlings. Can he pull a foxhole shot for the first time this season? Geiser has 2, Cairoli has 2, so too Koldenhoff and Paul and Fevre, but it's gonna be tight. It's Cairoli! Cairoli grabs a foxhole shot. It's very choppy through this next part of the racetrack here, though. But it's Cairoli who emerges the other side ahead of Bobryshev and Febvre with another fast start. Just behind them is Van Horbik and Paulin as they go bar to bar. Van Horbik finds his way through. And I guess from your side, Lorenzo Resta, your man, is out there in front. It's exactly where he wants to be, whether he's got sore eyes or not. He's only got one thing on his mind now, is to get his head down and get gone.
Yeah, I think so. It was what we were expecting in the first moto for sure. After the qualifying heat yesterday, that was pretty nice.
So Cairoli then heads out of sight and up the hill, the other side of the bridge there. Closely followed by the 777 of Evgeny Bobryshev, then Van Horbik there in blue, then Paulin. Then we've got, I think Dessau had a good start. Also, Febvre was in there as well. Let's go a little bit wider as we see these guys spread out. Van Horbik third. Yeah, fourth Paulin, fifth Febvre. So Febvre well placed again. He made a mistake in that bottom corner that's out of sight at the moment in race one. Who else is in there? Simpson is in there. So too Tonus, the two Yamahas, as they head down the back straight for Wilvo Yamaha. Then we're looking for the tall, rangy Lithuanian. He's around about 10th place at the moment, but Cairoli did this in the qualifying race yesterday. Got a good start, clean track, and then disappeared. Where is Geiser? Geiser is coming towards us now here in about 6 or 7, just ahead of Jeffrey Hurlings, who does not get another good start. So the lead HRC guy is Bobby, there in the red and blue, just behind the blue Yamaha of Romain Febvre, over the line for the first time. Cairoli 1.7 seconds clear of Bobryshev. Van Horbik passing us now in third. Fourth is Paulin. 5, Febvre. 6, Geiser. 7, Hurlings. Looking to go around the outside of the Slovenian. Looking to strike early, Jeffrey Hurlings. He knows he cannot afford to give these guys too much of an advantage. And he's down the inside of Romain Febvre. Febvre will make it very difficult for him.
What has changed a lot compared to the MX2 class, I think that is everyone in front here now is a good rider, is a fast rider. It would not make it easy for him to pass.
Oh, that's it. You know, people have been calling for him to go into MXGP for years now, and, you know, obviously he's had injuries that have prevented him from going up. You know, he's not been 100% ready, but he soon got up to speed. But as he acknowledged in Argentina and in recent interviews, just wasn't ready, not fast enough. But this is the weekend we expect him to come alive, and at the moment he's looking for new lines at the bottom of the hill to try and dispose of Romain Febvre. Again, Febvre goes to the favoured inside line. Hurlings will go to the outside, hopefully to get some drive underneath that back wheel and get him powered to the top of the hill. Switches it back to the inside, has to steady it down. I spoke to Jeffrey actually in the break and said, what's it going to take to get a perfect start? He said, if you could tell me that, I will give you a shed load of money, except he never said shed load. He said something similar. But he did say also that the track was very bumpy, but difficult to pass in terms of, you know, with it being very, very choppy. A slight mistake there. Can't afford to lose a position here to Jasikonis. I think it'll be a tough move at the end of the straight here.
My goodness, this Jasikonis is showing all his potential here on the sand. I think he was training for month and month with Stefan Everts on the sand, and you can see it clearly. Yeah, well, when he was with them for the first time in Loket last year, Czech Republic, filling in for Ben Townley, the mechanics were saying to me there, you know, he was already very, very fast in sand at Lommel, those kind of places, and he's showing that again here. He's obviously feeling very comfortable on that Suzuki around this Balkan circuit. Next week, or 2 weeks' time, is going to be Latvia, so more sand for him. It's going to be like a home GP for him, isn't it? Lithuania, the Baltic states. Yeah, for sure. These kids moved into UK at the beginning and then to Belgium a few years ago to training with his family. So he's living around here since a long time and training as a nice kid, really, without any kind of, you know, he's not feeling like he's a champion. So he's doing the right job, I think.
Yeah. Cairoli continues to lead marginally, about a second over Bobryshev. Then it's Van Horbik third. Paulin at the top of the hill fourth. The red Honda of Geiser is fifth. Febvre is sixth. Hurling seventh. There he is. Jasikonis on that yellow Suzuki is eighth. Ninth is Dessau, and Sean Simpson at the top of the hill is in 11th place on the Wilvo Yamaha ahead of his teammate. And Jasikonis still just trying to disrupt the rhythm of Jeffrey Hurlings and goes through. Wow, what an aggressive piece of riding that was. And all over the track, trying to go defensive. Hurlings getting pushed back here. And this is not what Hurlings is used to, certainly in the sand. The crowd are on their feet. Hurlings does get the job back there, though. He finds the pass. He's going to go around the outside of Febvre. This is where he was untidy a lap ago, trying to wrestle with a tear-off that allowed Jasikonis in the first place. But now Hurlings Well, I think that's just going to fire him up a little bit. What do you think, Lorenzo Resta?
I think that the level has grown a lot in those couple of years. You see, as now the common sand race, now all the riders are riding together. I mean, even Tony's not that far. He's 1 second ahead of Bobrishev. They're all in a pack, and they're doing great battles and a great show for everyone. We're not used to see races like that on the deep sand.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing Hurlings make mistakes in the sand either. We saw 2 in the first race. One where he caught Van Hoorbeek and passed him, but then ran out of room, just left his braking way too late.
That's amazing. I think that is just the thermometer of how high is the level of this category right now.
Just looking at the points in the championship, this gap would come down to 12 points. Tim Geiser would lead, so it would be a 6-point gain. In fact, what is it now? At the moment, it's 21. So
yes.
Yeah, so that's a big points haul for Cairoli if he stays there and Geiser doesn't advance further forward. So there is a lot riding on this race. That gap is coming down. Of course, it went out in the first race, but second moto shows how important the start is as Hurlings looks to find his way down the inside of Febvre, makes an aggressive pass at the top of the hill. Febvre had no choice but to back off and hit the brakes there. And he's looking to make a move down here on Hurlings. Wow.
I think he's not used to this, Jeffrey, in the sand. He's not used to have this answer from the riders immediately after he passed.
Yeah, normally he passes them and disappears onto the next one and makes a pass, and, you know, but as you say, MXGP is full of MX2 guys that have come up. Tim Geiser, of course, Koldenhoff, Febvre, you know, they're hard, aggressive riders.
And it's absolutely unpredictable. I mean, we saw Romain at the first motor was riding better than usually this year. What he did this
here we
year.
go.
Oh, again.
Take that, Romain. That's what Jeffrey's saying.
Yeah, and that's not a good news for Geiser, I think, because now if you find a good rhythm, Jeffrey can just go for them. You see, he's already there.
But yeah, Romain Febvre was looking good in the first race, but that one small mistake.
I don't know what happened to Sean Simpson, that he's usually really good in the sand, and right now did probably a mistake.
Yeah, a mistake, because he's gone from 10th. He's down to about 14th. And look at Febvre coming back at Jeffrey Hurlings again, side by side as they hit the Monster Energy finish line. Oh, the last of the late breakers here. This could end in tears.
My God, that's fantastic. You see, it's also different Romain compared to the last races, what we see. It's back a little to be like a fighter.
Yeah, this is great for Romain because he has been struggling with confidence as well, just like Jeffrey Hurlings. And, you know, those kind of maneuvers, oh, I tell you what, Paulin here now being under attack from the 243 of Geiser. This is over 4th place. Remember, Husqvarna have never taken the overall here. Paulin could change that today.
Yeah, it's a completely different race compared to race 1, with Tony in front, Bobby second, and then Jeremy third, but the rest is completely different race. I mean, Paulin is looking a little bit more conservative. Team is aggressive. You know that he got to move a little bit in front to avoid problems with Jeffrey, and so it's really interesting.
The good thing about moto number 1 in terms of Gauthier Paulin's performance was he remained cool and calm no matter what was happening behind him, how close the guys got. He was the one that he almost dictated it. He held the line perfectly, made everybody go around him. He forced them into making a mistake. He might be the freshest guy out on track. Cairoli had to work through the traffic, used a lot of energy. Hurlings had to use a lot of energy. Febvre, Van Hoorbeek, all those guys used a lot of energy in that first race. Paulin might just have a little bit left when it comes to the last few moments of this race, the last 10 minutes of the race. Here's Hurlings again, having another charge down the inside, has to back out of that challenge on that Red Bull KTM. Monster Energy Yamaha of Romain Febvre putting in a great performance here. He needs this performance.
Yeah, he needs to find back some confidence with the bike, because since the beginning of the season, when he crashed in Riola during the Internazionale d'Italia, he got some little struggle with his riding, with his bike. He never was performing as we know he can do it. Tony just scored the best lap time at the previous lap, and what is a good signal for him. But behind him, Bobrishev is still pushing really hard. Yeah,
he's only 1.2 seconds clear, despite setting the fastest lap of the race, or his own fastest lap. But Paulin sets the fastest lap, 1:51.278 last time around.
It's amazing how short is the race. I mean, from Jasikonis to Cairoli, it's at the moment just 10 seconds, what is nothing on the sand.
And that's 8 riders. And that, like I say, that is nothing in the sand. But Hurlings getting himself wound up again to try and possibly find a way past Romain Febvre. great performance from Febvre. This might be the result that turns his season around. Febvre at the top of the hill, going after the Honda of Tim Geiser. Hurling's just behind him. The atmosphere absolutely electric around this Valkenswaard circuit. So far, a mistake there from Febvre. Like I say, so far, Jeffrey Hurlings has yet to come alive in this second race. He's tried on 2 or 3 occasions to pass Romain Febvre. Febvre has got right back in the front of the homeboy into that 6th position. Hurlings gets close, loses ground, just pushing too hard. Lorenzo Resta in with me in for MXGP Race 2. Tony Cairoli has a 1.2-second advantage at the head of the field over Evgeny Bobrishev and Jeremy Van Horbik. Van Horbik just taking a look back there to see exactly where everybody else is, possibly to now start thinking about challenging Tony Cairoli and Evgeny Bobrishev. What do you think?
I think that it's impressive at the moment. Tony just scored the best lap time of the race, but many riders in the last lap had their best lap time. What it means that after 10 minutes the track is still in good condition. I would say even if for us, I mean for me, it would be impossible to ride on those kind of conditions. What, as you said at the beginning of the race, it's not so easy to pass today. Even if it's a sand track, the lines are quite tricky. If you want to pass and you have to change your lines, it's a bit difficult. You can struggle a lot and make easy some mistakes.
Well, Cairoli can't do any more than he's doing. He's going to be off the podium, 4th overall, even with that win on 37 points. Bobrishev on 40, he'll be 3rd. Van Horbik 42, Paulin 43.
That's I'm really curious to see how the motor will
play out.
Yes, because I think that something will happen. I mean, here in the middle, there's too many riders too fast to just stay like they are.
Yeah, it's almost like it's one of those races, isn't it? Every lap at the moment is a last, you know, it's like a qualifying lap for everybody at the moment. They're forgetting that there's still 18 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and it could just change. Watch this here. These are the moments between Jeffrey and Roman. Jeffrey thought he was through at the top of the hill. Former champ says, no chance.
Nice. Jeffrey
wasn't expecting it. Look, that's just the perfect body language. He thought, I'll get in the berm and go. Again, at the end of the straight, the 2 riders almost touched. Fortunately, Febvre saw it coming and was able just to hit the brakes. And then here, this was the closest one, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
This is where Jeffrey thought he had the inside line. Febvre, you know, great to see the fight from the Frenchman. Taking the challenge to Jeffrey Hurlings, forced him wide. One more time. Febvre still hanging on in there in 6th place. So, 6 laps complete. Tony Cairoli has started to move clear of Evgeny Bobrishev. 2.4 seconds now. The Red Bull KTM has over the HRC rider. Van Horbik is 3rd. He has 4 seconds clearance. And just after that, we've got this battle here. Paulin, Geiser, Febvre, Hurlings. They are all locked together in what is a 4-way battle for 4th place. But the Frenchman looking good here. Just looks like he's starting to edge clear. Bobrishev looks like he's the one that could start to, you know, come under attack first. First from Febvre and then from Hurlings.
It's amazing because everything can happen still. There's just 1 point in between Paulin and Van Horebek for the final result of the race. At the moment you see how tricky is really this track at the moment. Everything can happen in a second and you don't understand maybe why it was happening. I think that Romain now will try to go for Geiser because he's really aggressive on his style, really quick at the moment, and it looks like he's doing well.
Febvre looks like he's settled down now. He looks like he's got a good rhythm going, and I think you're right. I think with Van Horbik there in 3rd, there's Paulin 4th, then we've got Geiser and Febvre, and Hurlings just losing a little bit of ground here. Looks like he's got to take a breath and regroup, because look at Febvre all over the back of Geiser. This will have implications for the championship. As we said, 12 points separate Geiser and Cairoli at the moment. Geiser on 232, Cairoli on 220.
Everything can happen at the moment, because then if Febvre push on Geiser and Geiser on Paulin, the podium and the championship is at the moment something can happen there.
It's in the balance.
In the balance, absolutely. Yeah.
Ooh, Nicely done there from Tim Geiser. Is he getting comfortable in the race? He's all over the back of Paulin. A slight mistake from the tall Frenchman there. Just lost his footing on the foot peg. And is that a mistake? Can't afford to make any mistakes, especially where the championship is concerned. And Geiser wanting to pick up points. He knows he's losing points to Cairoli at the moment. He would have looked up early on in the race and seen Cairoli at the head of the field. Thought, right, okay, let's just try and settle down here and see where we're going. But he's looking like he's desperate to find a way around the outside of the Frenchman, and he might just make it work here. Oh! Back end, spits out on the side of that Honda.
And there is Jeffrey behind Romain that is pushing really hard to pass him.
Yeah, 4 riders, as we said, and Hurlings again looking to go long around the outside. He's tried it and failed around there. Will he make it work? Yes! No! Oh, very close. He might get the drive here. Oh, how close! You couldn't even get a cigarette paper between those two then at the top of the hill. And Febvre still responding.
And it's not yet done. It's not yet done because it looks like really Romain will not let him go, and team is right there just in front. So the battle is impressive. It's awesome.
It's impressive, and it is game on. All of a sudden, Geiser now going to come under attack from the 84 of Jeffrey Hurlings. Look at how he picks the front end up over the braking bumps here. That's where he makes his yard. Geiser thinks he's lost the attack from Romain Febvre. If he switches off, he will have Hurlings down the inside in no time.
Ooh,
and it will be after the Monster Energy finish line jump through the chicane. You watch this. If he's close enough, that's if he's not found his way past Gauthier Paulin as well. Wow, this one's starting to shape up now, Lorenzo.
It's just fantastic having a show like that on this track. Is look at that, look at that.
Yeah, not quite close enough to. Oh, nicely done. Goes round the outside, buries both wheels in the berm. All of a sudden, Hurlings has come to life.
Unbelievable.
Oh, and he's passed, is he? Yes, Hurlings goes past. Well, for the neutral that wants to see, you know, Hurlings at least get on the podium here, maybe even win it. That's, you know, exactly what they want to see. We're in his home, we're in his back garden. All of a sudden, he's flicked a switch and it's gone right. 2 passes in 1 lap. First, it was Febvre who's disappeared in the background there, and then Geiser, and immediately he's got his sights set on Gauthier Paulin. Will this affect the overall? Because if he goes past Paulin, then he hands the victory at the moment to Jeremy Van Hoorwijk. So this one has all kinds of implications.
It's incredible. This could be the turning point of this race, but probably also the turning point of the season, because if Jeffrey and Romain gains back this feeling, this confidence with the victory, with the race, with the podium, maybe we will see something different during the season.
He's still got a bit of time to make up. 11 seconds to Cairoli, of course, but he's definitely in his groove at the moment. He's hitting lines that no one else is hitting in a way that nobody else is as well. Van Hoorwijk is under pressure from Paulin, and Hurlings is right there as well. This is for 4th place.
It's incredible, because if Paulin passed Van Hoorwijk and then Jeffrey passed both, is Paulin still winning the race?
Exactly.
That is amazing. It's really an incredible race. Fantastic.
Wow.
That's motocross, Paul.
And Geiser's not done yet. He is latched onto the rear wheel of Jeffrey Hurlings here. We've still got 4 riders fighting over 4th place, 3rd place, because Van Hoorwijk has come into play on that Monster Energy Yamaha. He leads his group of riders on the Monster Energy finish line jump now. Goes through in 3rd, 7.5 seconds down on the race leader, Cairoli. Bobryshev still 2nd. Van Hoorwijk, Paulin. Hurlings the danger man here. Or is it going to be Geiser just there in the background? Boards going out to all the riders. They won't have time to look, though.
Yeah, I think now it's Paulin and Hurlings that are pushing really hard on lap times, because Tony is clearing a little bit in front from Bobryshev and on Van Hoorwijk, of course. But on the rest, like Paulin and Hurlings, they are getting closer. Now the gap is under the 10 seconds.
I think maybe Van Hoorwijk made a mistake that lap, because Paulin has started to lose the Yamaha here. Jeffrey Hurlings now, as we said a lap ago, if Jeffrey Hurlings passes Gauthier Paulin, that puts Van Hoorwijk on the top step of the podium, because as it stands at the moment, it is Paulin on 43, Van Hoorwijk 42, Bobryshev 40.
And it will be the second victory of his career for Jeremy in case, because the first one was in 2014 in Locken, and since that time he was never back on the top of the podium.
That was very, very tight at the bottom there. I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying, but as they went right over the bridge, Hurling was up the inside of Paulin, but just couldn't make the pass. Might make it at the end of the next long straight, though. He's going around the outside of Paulin here. He'll wheelie the braking bumps at the end of the straight if he's close enough. Here we go. Not close enough, I don't think. No, picks his wheel up here.
Well, it's incredible. We're not used to see Jeffrey, I would say, struggle a little bit.
Oh, he's done it here. No, he's close again. Wow. Jeffrey Hurling's definitely putting on a show for the fans here. It's not going to be good enough for the podium for him either. 36 points. He's going to be in 5th. So despite 3rd in race 1, he is not even going to get on the podium. Oh, hit the hole there. The square edge to Jeffrey Hurling's. That would have gone up through the back end. No doubt about it.
And Tim is still there, just behind him, just ready to make the move in case of any little mistake of anybody in front of him.
Yeah, look at Hurling's though, trying to inflict his sand prowess, his superiority in the sand that is evading him at the moment this year. Wow, there's Van Horbeke. He's disappeared. We've still got 3 guys here. Paulin, Hurlings, and Geiser fighting for 4th position. The overall Grand Prix as well for one of those guys. Points in the championship for Jeffrey Hurlings and a bag of confidence to go with it. And of course, Tim Geiser also fighting to try and extend his lead at the moment over Cairoli. It's down to 11. Geiser on 2:31. Cairoli on 2:20.
It's amazing. It's a shame that Arnaud Tonusse is not in this battle, because he showed that he got a speed here in Valkenswaard. A problem in the first moto with a crash, and a problem yesterday, of course, in a qualifying moto, putting him a little out of this fight. That is 9 in the second moto, but it's not so bad.
So Cairoli leads. He's 3.5 seconds clear of Bobryshev. Van Horbeke is 3rd. That's him on the blue Yamaha, just ahead of these two. Gauthier Paulin and Jeffrey Hurlings. Hurlings needs to find his way past Paulin. He'll take points away from the Frenchman. A mistake there from Paulin. And he'll prevent, if he finds his way past, he'll prevent from Paulin from standing on the top step of the podium. 2 years almost to the day that he stood on the podium here in when he was a Honda rider. Geiser has definitely upped his game. Hurling's looking a little bit like a surfer on the back wheel on that Red Bull KTM. Back marker, Clement Gertcher pulling out of the way. I think there was 62. Here's Geiser going after Hurlings.
My God.
Hurlings is not going to allow that, surely. And he doesn't. He comes back across the front of the HRC rider, who is really starting to believe in the second half of this race, Tim Geiser. And again, going after Hurlings here. So Hurlings struggling to find his way past Paulin, and all of a sudden he's got his hands full of the Slovenian.
It was incredible, because immediately when you make a little mistake trying to pass the guy in front of you, the guy behind you is coming, and it's really a tough moto, huh?
Very tough. Right, breathe.
Yeah. I would not be, honestly, a lap rider in this condition, because it's quite tricky. Look at
Hurlings goes around the outside, looking to make a pass. Going to have to wait a little bit longer, though. Hurlings this time goes around the outside. Paulin tries to go down the inside of Van Horbeke. Van Horbeke under pressure at the moment. They're fighting over 3rd. The blue Yamaha, the Monster Energy Yamaha, Jeremy Van Horbeke. Paulin trying to go through at the top of the hill on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Very, very close. The Frenchman is going through. Well, he's making his own history here, Paulin. He forces the issue. He gains another couple of points on Jeremy Van Horbeke. That'll put him on 5. It'll keep Van Horbeke on 40. Bobryshev on 14, he's come right into play as well. He is here, 777, all of a sudden looking good for Gauthier Paulin, who's definitely turned it up a little bit himself with 6 minutes to go.
You know what can happen? Paulin can win the race. Jeremy Van Horbeke 2nd, and Jeffrey Hurlings 3rd, because Bobby is now really close from then.
Hurlings goes through.
Ooh, the lap times are going down at the moment and up for what is Bobby. And it's really the key of the race is probably right now.
It's tasty. 5:50 on the clock. Cairoli, 5.5 seconds clear. As we said, he cannot do any more than he's doing at the moment. He wants to grab those 25 points for victory here in race 2 if he can. He knows the title challenger, Tim Geiser, who leads the championship in a moment, is in 6th place. So that's going to be a good points haul for Tony Cairoli in that respect, pulling back lost points and gaining a few as well. But Bobryshev is coming under attack now. Here he is in 2nd, Paulin 3rd, Hurling's 4th, Van Horbik is in 5th. And the podium has changed. It's Paulin now on 45, Bobryshev 40, Hurling's on 38, Van Horbik on 38, Cairoli on 37. These guys could do Tony a favour here this weekend in the final stages of the race.
Yes, and it's really amazing. Now Gauthier is going for Bobryshev.
Yeah, he's made the move as well. Nicely done from GP21.
Bobby is going a little bit down. He wasn't so well in well condition at the beginning of the week after the crash in Arco. Look at that.
Yeah, Hurling's. Wow. Ooh. Talk about scything down the inside. He had to commit to that pass there. He did exactly that. He has disposed of the 777, Evgeny Bobryshev. And he's going after Paulin. This one is not done yet in terms of points, in terms of championship, in terms of the overall. Wow, wow, wow. Right, Hurling's going after Paulin. This is for 2nd. And Van Horbik down the inside of Bobby. And he's going to let his teammate through. So good. Well, this was going to happen. Bobryshev was going to tie it. Those points are gifted to Tim Geiser in that respect. So he'll gain 1 or 2 there in that race. Where is he at the moment? So 18, 16, he'll gain a point.
Yeah, at the moment now we have Poland still on the top of the podium. Bobryshev is down from the podium because of he lost 3 positions.
Yeah, we'll see that now as they hit the line. So Cairoli 7 seconds clear, Paulin 2nd, Hurling 3rd, Van Horbik 4th, Geiser 5, Bobryshev 6th. Podium implications, Paulin for Husqvarna has 7 points clearance now. Hurling's 2nd on 40, Van Horbik on 40, Cairoli on 37. And Hurling's going after the race 1 winner, Gauthier Paulin here.
3 minutes to the end, and the gap is to 7 seconds in between Cairoli and Paulin.
What were the lap times last time around? 53.006, almost a 53 exactly for Cairoli. Hurling's a 53.1. Those two, not the fastest riders on track. Paulin a 52.8.
Yeah.
And a 52.3 for Jasakonis last time around. And Febvre 52.5.
It's 3 seconds behind Febvre, so he still can play it a little bit, maybe.
Was that Febvre down the inside of Bobryshev? I think it was, just down here in the background. I think he may have just gone through. So, yes, he has gone through into 6th place.
Yeah.
So Romain Febvre picking off another position. The Russian just starting to widen the tongue out a little bit in the closing stages of this race. Geiser doing his best to keep Van Horbik in play. Could do with taking another point or so, because obviously Van Horbik 4th on 18, Geiser on 16 in 5th. Those 2 points would come in handy.
Those are precious for him. He knows that he needs those points. He needs to go for that.
And they're also precious for Tony in terms of, like, at the moment, as long as Geiser stays back there, then those 2 points belong in Tony's pocket. So it works both ways, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Still 12 points to gap, Geiser and Cairoli, though, in terms of the overall classification. Geiser will keep the red plate. The champions in lead going into Latvia in 2 weeks' time. But what else will happen in this race here? Geiser all over the back of the Monster Energy Yamaha of Jeremy Van Horbik. 2 minutes to go.
And I'm not sure that for Paulin it's done so easy to finish 2nd because Jeffrey is there. But we saw the first moto that at the end of the moto it wasn't so fresh.
Yeah, a couple of pulls, 2 tear-offs gone there for Jeremy Van Horbik as he got towards the end of the start straight into turn 1. Sometimes what happens is you get dirt goes down and he's pulling tear-offs left, right and centre at the moment. So he's got visibility issues, has Jeremy Van Horbik. Sometimes dirt just goes down the top. You pull one thinking it's there and it's gone down between. So he must have had a face full of roost from somebody for it just to sort of, you know, push up on the tear-off on the laminate. He's going again, another tear-off. 4 tear-offs in about 6 corners for the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. He's put a gap between himself and Geiser, though. That's more important for him. Then here's Febvre coming back for more. He could come back into play. He could close down on Geiser in the closing stage and take those points back away from the Slovenian. It's all kicking off. What's happening further down, Lorenzo? We've got Bobryshev 7, Jasakonis 8, Tonus for Wilbo Yamaha is 9, Koldenhoff is 10, Leok is 11, Nagel is 12, Simpson 13, DeSalle 14, Philip Bengtson 15, Valentin Guillot 16, Steve Lenoir, Harry Kulas, Gert Kressenoff and Rui Gonçalves rounding out the point scorers in 20th. But it's been electric here, this second MXGP race once again.
I'm sorry for Bobby because it looks like he's struggling a little bit. He was turning 58 and 57 right now, like lap times, and Jasikonis is quite faster in this moment, and he's probably going for the Russian soon.
Did you see Herlings through that turn then?
Yeah.
Just compared to Gauthier Paulin. Definitely got the attack mode on alert this time around as Jeffrey Herlings. It's going to be 3 laps to go. And Paulin, he can afford Jeffrey Herlings to go past him. He will still win the Grand Prix. He will only drop 2 points. That'll put him on 45, 5 clear of Jeffrey Herlings.
Jeffrey will gain 2 more points and go on 42, but still be just second. But he will also probably secure a little bit more his place on the podium.
Yeah, because he can't afford anything else to happen behind him that is out of his control. All he can do is write his own destiny here. And it'll be the first visit to the podium either way if he finds his way past Paulin or not, obviously depending on what happens. But again, charging around the outside. Jeffrey Herlings, the circuit announcer here, definitely getting on to full volume. And Herlings, is he going to charge down the inside or around the outside?
He was talking about the body language, and you can clearly see now from the body of Jeffrey how aggressive he is, how on charge, on fire.
Paulin definitely has his hands full. The bullet firing a warning shot to everybody in MXGP, saying that he may have gone, but he's not disappeared. He's working his way back into contention for race wins, for podium visits, for championship points. He's going to go the long way round here. Paulin is going to close the door. It was a deep berm turn for Herlings. Lost vital ground. Ooh! Paulin almost out of the seat there. That was a warning sign for him as well. He will still keep pushing.
That's something really like frozen on your back, you know, like, brrr. That's a call.
Yeah. That was a hard hit there on the face of that jump. He went down, of course, in that corner, and he was Kawasaki mounted when Simpson cleaned him up. You know, he was unsighted, got hit, and obviously did a bit of damage to him, but that was a few years ago. He's enjoyed success around here. Double moto winner in 2015 when he was HRC, of course.
And still, they are on 52 with these kind of mistakes. It's something incredible.
It's a hard pace. 2 to go. Jeffrey Herlings will be on the podium here, 2nd overall. Van Horbik is in that race, 3rd overall, but 4th in the race. He can't afford to relax because Geiser finds a way through, who was 3/4 of a second quicker than Van Horbik last time around. All of a sudden, that takes points away from Van Horbik.
And Jasikonis found a way to pass Bobrishev for the 7th place.
Back markers will hold up the charge of Jeffrey Herlings. Well, one of them will. Maxime Dupre is next, the 141 on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. He's outside of the points at the moment. It was Jonathan Bengtson that he just passed a moment ago, 93 at the top of the hill. But that's clear track for Gauthier Paulin, and I think Jeffrey Herlings might just be getting tired here in the closing stages of the race. He has put a lot into this, and it goes back to what we said at the start of the race, Lorenzo Resta, where Jeffrey had to fight from the back in the first race to get that 3rd place. Paulin was fresh. He did his own thing, controlled the race perfectly, was barely out of breath, and he's had a similar race here, hasn't he? When he had to turn it up about 7 or 8 minutes ago, he had enough in the tank to do that, and we're just seeing him now pull clear of Jeffrey Herlings.
Yes, absolutely, you were right, and of course at the moment we are now 1.5 laps at the end of the race, and the riders start feeling really tired, and with the motor so exciting and so hard on lap times, for sure, with this kind of rhythm, you should feel what you did in the first moto.
When we talk about how close the championship is, as Cairoli already embarks on his final lap, lap 17 in the bag, we're on 18 laps now. Geiser, once off the podium, finishing 7th overall in Indonesia. He was 2nd in Qatar. He was a winner in Patagonia and Mexico, 2nd overall in Trentino. Tony Cairoli, twice off the podium, 4th and 7th Indonesia and Patagonia. This weekend, they both had, inverted commas, bad GPs. Cairoli's going to finish 4th on 37. Geiser is going to finish 5th on 31. So normally, when you talk about bad races, bad weekends, that kind of thing, be interesting to see who this favours in the final standings at the end of the year.
Yeah, it was a shame for sure for Tony in the first moto to have this kind of issue with the start, but mostly with the goggles during the moto when he got all these sand in his eyes. But yeah, as you said, the championship is so close that on the standings that now everything can happen at every race and every points count, really.
Well, we haven't seen too much of Kai Rowley. He's 5.5 seconds clear of Gauthier Paulin. Jeffrey Hurling still pushing there in third on that Red Bull KTM. Trying to close down that second place. Gauthier Paulin. Oh, there is Kai Rowley. Just the other side of the two back markers. So all of a sudden, it's not like he doesn't know that they're there, but I think he's got enough in hand here, but he cannot afford to relax, can he? Oh, Van Oorbeek goes down. That's going to hand points to Geiser, possibly. Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Well, there's a gift, if ever there was one. Just a slight slip there for the number 89.
No problems, of course, for the podium for what concerns Jeremy, because he just restarted after team passed him. But that's a point more for team in the general standings.
Hitting the step up for the final time. Tony Kai Rowley will win Moto number 2, but he's not going to be on the podium. He knows that as well. But Paulin knows he's taken the overall victory. Hurlings comes home third, and that's the first win for the season for Husqvarna Factory Racing. The first Grand Prix victory since 2015 for Gauthier Paulin, of course, which was here almost 2 years ago. And that is a big win for him. And the first time Husqvarna has ever won around this circuit at Valkenswaard. Van Hoorbeek stays on the podium. He's on 38. Kai Rowley, 37. Just 1 point. Kai Rowley misses the podium by. But look at that. Tim Geiser coming home 5th overall, 4 points. So it's 14 points then in the end, the gap going into Latvia in 2 weeks' time. Wow, what a Grand Prix victory. We'll hear from Paulin, our overall winner, in a moment, and more from Lorenzo Resta in a moment. Here he is, Gauthier Paulin, Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna Factory Racing, Antti Pirinen and everybody. And of course, Kimi Räikkönen will be more than pleased with how things turned up. Jeffrey Hurlings will be super pumped because of his podium, but let's grab Lisa, see if she can grab a quick word with Gauthier Paulin. Here he is, Grand Prix winner.
Gauthier Paulin, congratulations, your first overall victory of the year and with your Husqvarna. You really had to work for it though in that second moto.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good, you know. I had to work really hard for it because I didn't take the best start ever, and then I managed to make the push when everyone was really tired and the track was tough. So I managed to make the push at the right moment and win the GP. So 1 and 2nd feels great. I love it.
Great job. Thanks, Gauthier.
Gauthier Paulin, a winner in race 1, second in race 2, takes his first Grand Prix victory of the year, the first since 2015, first for Husqvarna, the team that he rides for. And it's the first ever Grand Prix victory for Husqvarna in any class around Valkenswaard since 1974. That is a long wait, so those guys are going to party hard tonight in Austria, that's for sure. But they've got 2 weeks to recover because the next round is Latvia at Kegums in 2 weeks' time. What another fantastic day of racing we've had here in MXGP. Lorenzo Resta, that was a fantastic second moto once again. Obviously your guy came out and won, but he didn't make it on the podium. He'll be disappointed with that. He has reduced the gap from what it was in moto after the first race. Quick summary of the overall results here in race 2. Kai Rowley wins it, Paulin second, Hurlings, Geiser, Van Hoorbeek, Fevra, Jasikonis. Bobryshev dropped to 8th in the end, Tonus 9, Koldenhoff 10 with Nagel, Leok, Simpson, Dessau, Bengtson, Guillot, Kulas, Lenoir, De Wolf and Gonçalves. They were your point scorers, and that means that Geiser continues to lead the championship from Kai Rowley. 14 points of difference there. Paulin is third, but Paulin wins here. A win and a second. Jeffrey Hurlings 2/3. He's on the podium for the first time in MXGP. Defeated in the sand though. And Jeremy Van Hoorbeek 3rd for Monster Energy Yamaha. He was going to be there anyway. He was tied on points with Jeffrey Hurlings, just lost 2 to the Bullet. Kai Rowley and Geiser round out the top 5. The championship points will come up. We know all about the implications there, 14 points. But Lorenzo Resta, another fantastic race and another great weekend of MXGP action.
It was honestly Really, really incredible. It was incredible because after Trento, where we had this kind of incredible second moto, here we had two fantastic races. And that's the show of the MXGP. That's the show of 10, 12 riders that every weekend can win the moto, win the GP, be on the podium. It's something incredible.
Good weekend for Paulin and Van Horbik, both advancing 2 positions. So Paulin now 3rd, Van Horbik 4th. De Saal loses ground, so too does De Saal. But you know, Jeffrey Hurlings will pick up decent points here today. 40 in total, I think it was, or yeah, 40 wasn't it? Because it was 37 for Jeremy Van Horbik.
It wasn't really a good weekend for Clement. No. After a really good beginning of the season, now it's struggling a little bit too much.
Honda continued to lead in the manufacturers' chase, though. That's important for the manufacturers. But Foxhole shot. Antonio Cairoli, he'll move to 3 now. Wow. Fred Van Wardragon handing Tony Cairoli the black plate. Of course, he is on 3, so he leads the way in the Fox classification. Paulin Geiser on 2, Koldenhoff on 2, Fever on 2 as well. Getting ready for the podium here. And Gauthier Paulin, well, he was pleased when he came over the line there, but obviously to win in the sand, you know, he's done it time and time again. We saw it last time 2 years ago for HRC when it was a double moto victory. Second and a win today, or a win and a second, I should say. But 3rd overall, Jeremy Van Horbik, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. He's on the podium for the 2nd time this year, but looks disappointed. Maybe he's just a little bit tired. He would have put a lot of effort into both those races there. I would say it was more physically, the physical effort that he's put in from Jeremy Van Horbik, but he is on the box here this weekend, as we said, for the 2nd time of the season. 2nd overall, Jeffrey Hurlings. He tried, but you've got to start somewhere, Lorenzo, and of course he hasn't even had a sniff of the box in 2017. 8th overall is best at Trentino last time out, but he makes it on top of the onto the 2nd step for his Dutch fans. But Gauthier Paulin, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing, on the top step of the podium for the first time in 2017. His season is getting better and better. 2 visits to the podium for him as well. 3rd overall in Mexico, a winner here today. And is that Antti Pirinen? Yeah, Antti Pirinen will collect the manufacturer's trophy. Interesting looking podium this weekend. Jeremy Van Horbik does look a little bit subdued and a little bit despondent, but I think that is more down to the physical effort that he's put in. Yeah, Jeffrey Hurlings takes 2nd overall in the Dutch Grand Prix or the GP of Europe here in the Netherlands, at home anyway in Holland. And of course, that's something he's not used to, but there's a lot of things he's not been used to this year. And one of them is battling hard through the field to score World Championship points. Gauthier Paulin, on the other hand, he will gratefully accept the winner's trophy here from Dr. Wolfgang Schrub. A top step of the podium for the Frenchman and Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Antti Pirinen taking the winning manufacturer's trophy on behalf of Husqvarna. We didn't see Tony Cairoli or Tim Geiser on the podium this weekend, but we will get to see Geiser because he will continue to lead the championship. He will collect the championship leader's red plate. Looks a little bit pale. Looks like he's put in a good shift here today, but just didn't come to a podium place. 5th overall for the Slovenian and Team HRC. But Tony Skillington will deliver him the red plate. He continues to lead as we head to round 7 in 2 weeks' time at Kegums in Latvia. But for Gauthier Paulin and his army of French fans, the French national anthem is next. French national anthem for Gauthier Paulin and the Austrian national anthem for Husqvarna, winning manufacturers here at the MXGP of Europe. Gauthier Paulin, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing, Jeffrey Hurling's Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, and a Monster Energy Yamaha of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. They're your top three here this weekend. Of course, we'll talk to our winners. The other side of the best moments in a moment. They'll enjoy their time on the podium. Of course, certainly Jeffrey Hurling's and Gauthier Paulin. But what a day of action it has been here today. Lorenzo Resta, we're getting spoilt in MXGP, aren't we? We're getting used to seeing some great racing out on track.
It was a pleasure, honestly. It was a great pleasure to watch this race. Once again, it was enormous what they did. It's election day today in France, and I think that Paulin elected himself as the fastest rider here in Valkenswaard. But what we saw yesterday, what we see today, I think that Cairoli proved once again that he's there for the championship.
No doubt about it. But neither Cairoli nor Geiser on the podium this weekend. Geiser continues to lead, though, as we head to round 7. Today it was all about Gauthier Paulin as he took his first Grand Prix victory of the season, and the first for Husqvarna around Valkenswaard as well. Right, Lisa Leyland is down there getting ready to speak to our top three. Third overall, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Second for Jeffrey Hurlings, and the winner, Gauthier Paulin, on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. The podium is being cleared. They're just getting into position. It looked like it was an emotional podium ceremony for Gauthier Paulin. Well, it will be, wouldn't it? First GP victory in 2 years. First race win in 2 years as well, after winning one of the races in Teushenthal in 2015. But it'd be interesting to hear what Jeffrey Hurlings has to say in particular as well, because that podium has been a long time coming for the Bullet. It's second overall for him. Not where he wanted to be ideally, but there were a lot of question marks hanging over him anyway. Would he win at home this weekend, yes or no? Obviously he hasn't, but he's put in a great performance. That might be a great confidence booster, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is just coming back step by step. It needs time. The injury, then the new class, also the 450 is not that easy to ride this kind of bike on condition like we saw today at the limit. And he showed that he got few problems.
Right, we are going down to the top three. Here's Gauthier Paulin, your overall winner.
Gauthier Paulin, what a fantastic weekend for you. First race win and with Husqvarna for a very long time, and your first overall. It seemed in that first race you were cool and calm, saved your energy when you really needed it in that second moto.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned everything. You know, I've been pushing hard first moto, getting a shot and winning the moto. I was feeling really good with the 450 Husqvarna, and then second moto I didn't take the best start ever. And then the rhythm was high, you know, track was tough, and I gave the push on the right moment when it should be. And all the fans, you know, Dutch fans were cheering for Jeffrey behind me, and they cheer, you know, it gives me energy too. So it's good to be back on the win, you know, after it was really emotional for me, you know, when I saw my wife crying on the podium. It was really cool, you know, because we passed some tough time, and now feeling really good with the crew, and those guys have been pushing really hard behind me, and I really want to thank them a lot. Those Dutch Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing team, they are amazing to me.
Well deserved. Thanks, Gauthier. Congratulations. Second overall today, we have Jeffrey Hurlings. Jeffrey Hurlings, it's great to see you back on the podium where you belong. You really needed that, didn't you?
It's been forever, huh? Man, it's been a long time, but not in the spot where I want to be. You know, I think, you know, the starts, they weren't good today. You know, I'm on the best bike, but, you know, I messed up twice, kind of, and that's why I didn't win the GP. I mean, I came twice from outside the top 10 back to the podium spot, but just missed out on the GP win. But I felt we made a good step forwards. You know, I feel like I've got back to speed where I need to be, and it's been a blessing. You know, I had a tough time, and with the injury, you know, altogether, you know, it's been tough. So happy to be in this spot. Just, man, need to dial in the stars. When I got that dialed in, we're solid. We're ready where we want to be.
Good to see you back, Jeffrey. Congratulations. We have Jerry Mann here. Jerry Mann, tell us about that race. It seems to have taken a lot out of you, but you've got the podium and it was a great result.
Yeah, you know, I've been really sick after Mexico. My stomach, I had an infection and I lost 4 kilograms. And I guess the second moto, I don't know, after 10 minutes I had big cramps and I just feel not so good, you know, but I'm really happy. The win was possible if I was 100% healthy, but it is what it is. I'm again on the podium, and big thanks to my team and everybody around me. And yeah, we have 1 weekend off, and we keep working for that win.
Great job, Jerry Mann.
Well, that's all we've got time for here. We will see you all in 2 weeks' time. The MXGP of Latvia, Kegums. Thanks to Lorenzo Resta for joining us in here today, but what another epic day of racing we've had here. My name's Paul Manning. Thanks for joining us. We will see you in Latvia in 2 weeks' time. But for now, congratulations to Gauthier Paulin and Rockstar Energy Husqvarna.